All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and do another recording. Cause what you told me actually worked. I went ahead and just removed the scheduled games just to kind of test it so I can move forward with this, and that seemed to solve the problem. You can see I don't have any scheduled matches anymore. Went ahead and removed those, which is seemed to solve the problem. So I think we're good now. Gonna go ahead and reschedule that because that's a game I'd like to watch. But yeah, like I was speaking about before, a new update, pretty major update I think. There's a change to how scouting works. So previously we had this hiring agent thing in the club, and you could actually hire agents for a specific length of time, and based on your scout center you'd be able to see stats and abilities for various players, and then based on your level that would allow you to see higher level players. But now I think it's going for more of a quote-unquote realism perspective, where you have an idea of how good players are, but you don't have the exact information. So if I go to this team, you'll see everyone has a question mark by the number now. You know, the giftedness also has a question mark, and basically that means that we have some idea of how good these players are or what their skills and abilities are, but we're not entirely sure. So as you play through the match, you'll also see that come up as well. For example, this midfielder Keith, this is what we think his stats and abilities are. The one thing is the skills will always be exact. So Keith definitely has Rainbow Feint, but we don't know what level of Rainbow Feint it is. And then of course we don't know what the potential is either. And like Lobsian has these two skills for certain, but we don't know what the levels are or what the potential level is. So it's a bit, I think it's gonna be more complicated. The other system was simpler to understand, but it was a bit more limited because you know, it was kind of, what's the word? I guess it was cumulative, right? You'd have lower level players, you have lower level scouts, you can see those players, you have to upgrade your scout to see higher level players, but then the highest level players would be hidden to you until match day. And then on match day you would be able to see everything, right? You'd actually be able to see that player's abilities anyway. So this is an interesting twist, because you have the ability to scout still. There are different ways to do it, just more of a passive thing now. For example, in the transfer list, your personal list, you'll have this automated scouting that occurs. And in your watch list as well, you'll have this automated scouting that occurs. And then of course you can still influence it a little bit based on how you build your club. You can see these weak scout labels that comes up when your scouts aren't good enough to gain information on certain players. So it's generally the higher level players. If your scouting infrastructure is not very good, you're gonna be locked out of getting exact information for these guys. And then you'll see it kind of increases over time, game after game. And the same is going to be true for the transfer list. I'm going to test the extended list as well to see if that's also the case, to see if scouting was added there. I don't really need anybody this week or this period, so I'm not really as concerned about it. It is a bit different because previously, I think on the transfer list you could see all the information for the player regardless, and that will kind of help you make a decision. But you can see now in the transfer list, it's all a guess, right? And that's not just impacting things in terms of the information that's provided or hidden, that's also impacting the value of players. So for example, this defender here, Cranston, seems like he's 3 million plus because our estimate is that he's this good, that he's worth that money, you know? These are his abilities, these are what I think his abilities are based on my scouting infrastructure. You know, these are the skills that he has. He definitely has these skills, but we assume that he has level 3 reaction rather, and level 2 head play. And then of course my scouting infrastructure is not good enough to pick him up. You can go and check that, then you can influence it. You can see I'm like a 1-star. Still a 1-star scout center, so there's still some incentive to invest in this, so you can actually start passively scouting these players. But you can see based on all of that, he's going to be really expensive. When in reality, he could actually be significantly cheaper because his actual abilities may be worse than this. But we don't know for sure. We only have an idea of how good he is, and that's impacting his price. You know, the same, it also works in the opposite direction. The same goes for players that might be undervalued or underestimated. For example, Carney, you know, we're guessing that he's a giftedness level 0, and we're guessing that these are his abilities, right? So he's gonna be really cheap as a result. When in actuality, he could be better than this. He could also be worse than this. We don't know. So it's an interesting system. Again, I think it's gonna be more complicated than the existing system, at least the previous system that it replaces. But it did come up in the test channel. There's a bit of back and forth about the previous system. So it really depends on the type of player that you are. I tend to like the complexity in my games, so I don't mind this. But I could see like a more casual player might struggle with this, because this is definitely way more involved than the other one. And again, it also impacts the match day action, as you're gonna see in a few games that I'll play. Because as you look at a team, let's say I'm playing this team next. I'm gonna see these ratings when I check the formation screen. So it's still going to be based on my scouting that happened outside of the match, right? So for example, Middleton's going to have these stats in game because those are the stats that I think he has. And when he actually rolls the dice, we're going to assume that he's rolling based on these stats. So like his passing may be 50 for argument's sake. Let's say after the CM bonuses, his passing comes to 50. And after CM bonuses, his passing comes to 67, based on everything going on. In game, the roll is going to show 67 because that's the estimate. It's still going to use the actual value, but based on our the information that we have, the rolls that we see, the detail that we see, are going to be based on this. So it might look like he has a much higher ceiling. So for example, if this goalkeeper has 75 in the goal, and you know that's the estimated value based on our scouting, that might impact whether or not I want to take a precision shot versus a power shot, you know? If someone has an estimated 61 control when I'm fighting for a corner, that may impact my decisions because I don't know what his actual ceiling is or max value is. And I would assume that once we've scouted out a player or scouted out like a certain aspect of the player's abilities, this question mark will be removed. So for example, if we start scouting out MacArthur and we learn about what his true defense is, this will probably be removed. And the same would be true for the rest. And then certain things you just know off the top. You know their classes because obviously you know their classes. You also know their age and you know their nationality. So those three things are things that will always be static. And then of course you know their name because why not? Yeah, it's interesting, especially because on the strategic level, it does add another wrinkle to consider. Let's see. I usually just play through my games just to kind of give running feedback. Let's see. Gilmore. Gilmore, nice. Okay, so Gilmore is a player we actually loaned. We loaned to another team. You know, being able to loan players is a new feature that we're gonna get in the world edition of Football Tactics and Glory. That way you can kind of send players out to other teams if you don't have time to field them yourself. He gained 2 levels, so that was useful. He also gained specialization points. That was also tracking him, so I know he gained center forward specialization points, which is good for him. You can see McAllister wasn't used at all, so you know, nothing about him changed. A bit of a risk reward there. Comes with the territory of the loan system. Generally, if you loan better players to teams that need them, those players will get way more play on the field. So sometimes you want to balance it out as well. Okay, we got contracts to worry about, the transfer window. We got the second part of the payment for Kelman, who we sold last transfer period. And we're getting offers for Atkins, who's our current left wing midfielder. I'll see whether or not I want to send him over. And then of course there are players here that we acquired in a loan. I used Kwashi quite a bit, and then I have that ability for my coach or my manager. Well, I guess they're the same thing, aren't they? I have this coach ability, coach/manager ability that allows me to buy players that I picked up on a loan at a discount. He's still pretty expensive because he's a pretty good player. And then of course the new scouting system applies to all the different areas of the game. You can see I'm looking at his profile page. I don't know what his true value is because he's not my player. When he was my player, I could see it. Obviously now that he's gone home, I don't really know what it is. For Kaz, it might make sense for loaned players to be known players. So for example, if I picked up a player in a loan, I'll be able to see all of his stats during the loan period. So when he goes back home, I think it makes sense that he's fully scouted because you used him, right? That might be something you want to look into because it looks like it's not taking it into consideration. Because I use this guy, I know what his stats are, but now they're hidden, right? But then this is also new. But then even then, I just progressed it. So when I progressed it, I updated the game, and I still had him on my team as a loanee, I guess. And then I progressed it, and then he went home. That's probably something you want to consider because it doesn't look like it's implemented. But yeah, it's gonna apply to those players as well. Now I had picked up this guy because I wanted to buy him. Specifically, I wanted to buy him here. This is why I grabbed him. He hasn't played any matches, unlike Quasi, which is he's given me 51 glory, right? He's gotten a lot of experience, 13 matches. He's also gained like a level or two. Well, this guy's done nothing, and that was by design. But he's also really expensive still. I was hoping I would get more of a discount, but he's also really good. Again, same situation. He was on my team, so I should probably know what his details are. So you might want to look into that, cause yeah, he's too expensive for me though, unfortunately, unless I want to make a sale, which is a possibility. I mean, in terms of Atkins, I do have other players that I'm going to be focusing on turning into left wing midfielder, so maybe I might be able to buy that guy. It's a possibility. Thinking about it, $4.99. You do get one chance though. This is your only chance to buy this guy. Also, as we spoke about earlier, what you know about him impacts his sales price. So again, for Kaz, I'm not sure if it's impacting his sales price here. So for example, he's giftedness level 2. His stats don't look like they're very good. His level's kind of middling, but he's 500,000, right? And then this guy is also in a similar situation. He doesn't look like he's very good. I know he might be better or worse than this, but based on this, it seems like his asking price is really high. So that seems like it might need to be ironed out a little bit more. Like it doesn't seem like it's matching up here. Yeah, but based on this, I can't afford him, which is fine. In terms of Atkins, I'll probably sell him. Like, he's 22. He's Scottish, which is a bigger deal than you'd think, because in this game you can't play a ton of foreign nationals. So I have to look at him and think about my other players. Like, if I got rid of Atkins, I would have one less Scottish player, which also means that it would impact my ability to field a valid squad. So it's not just about what I stand to gain in terms of profit, right? It's also whether or not that impacts my team as a whole. I'll probably let him go. For now, I'm gonna ask that they give me more because I can still get some use out of him. And then I'm gonna deal with these contracts, which is normally how I do it. Schaefer definitely has to stay. He's also from the Netherlands, so he's actually really, really good because of that Netherlands bonus. Hansen also stays because Hansen is my right wing midfielder. McGrath stays because I need a backup defender. And then Atkins might stay. We'll leave it at that. And then I think I got someone a while ago. I got Kincaid, who I'm going to sell because he's not very good. Go away, Kincaid. Young is really good. I think I bought Young off of the extended market, if I remember correctly. I didn't. Well, he's really good, whatever. Let's see. And then who am I going to sell? Out of the two of these guys, McAllister should probably go. You know, every time I send him out for loans, he never really does anything. You can say I've sent him out for loans over and over again, and he just doesn't get much play. He got play there, here not so much. He's not terrible, but he's also not the type of player I really want to use on this team. So for him, I'll probably send him on loan again. And I'll try them because they've used him before. And again, you can look at the team and you can kind of see the ratings now, see how that's changed. You still don't have complete information. And what I like about this is in theory, I think the idea is a player's performance will impact their scouted information as well. So if you think about someone like I don't know. I don't follow modern football. I don't know, think about Salah or something. Or Holland or someone like that. People know about them and they know what their ratings are. They have a pretty good idea of how skilled those players are because they tend to perform really well at a really high level. So for players like that, you'll be able to get more accurate information just because they're so popular. But if it's a player who doesn't really play all that often or he doesn't perform very well, then, you know, it's going to take some scouting work. So for example, like this guy is really good. He's also a top 1 player. So just by looking at this, he's probably very close to what I see here in terms of his level and his control and stuff, because he's a really popular, very skilled player versus someone like, I don't know, like this guy down here who doesn't play as often. Maybe he's not performing as well, which you can also check. Yeah, you're not gonna really see it for him as much, right? Yeah, so it's an interesting system. Again, you can already tell it's gonna be really complicated though. Yeah, so let's make a purchase. Let's gamble a little bit, right? I don't gamble in real life, but it's a game, so why not? This guy's 42,000. He's also 30 years old. Yeah, it's a tough one. Let's see. Let's send scouts as I normally do. I send them to the lower leagues. And I also have my watch list. I might actually try to scout him out and see what happens. Alright, let's see. Let's actually get into a game here. Let's see how it looks in-game. And then of course these videos tend to run long because I'm trying to be as detailed as possible. Part of it's just showing it off to an audience that isn't familiar with it, but most of it's going to be for Creo Team, just to kind of give them additional information. Yeah, so let's see, Gilmore. I'd love to play Gilmore. Young needs to get in there at some point. It's gonna be tough. Because it's like finding room for Young to work is the biggest problem. So I'm thinking we'll take you out, Masters. Or we might even take, well, we'll leave Deans for now, because Deans is going to be a left winger. And then we've been playing a more aggressive formation just to mix things up, which is why I have 3 at the back. If you're new to the game, you generally don't want 3. Generally, you want at least 4. I think the most popular new player formation is to have a sweeper back here, and then make like these guys CDs, and then have a DF or something there. That's a pretty safe formation if you're learning the game. If you're familiar with the game, you can get more creative than that. There are definitely better formations than having a sweeper, and depending on your strategy, you can definitely mix it up a lot. But for now, I'm gonna get McNamee going. You know, Kirk Cowley's not an amazing team. They're 10th place. If we look at the table, you know, it's a pretty close race for the top 6. I'm not really worried about relegation, so I can actually put him out there. It's also snowing, so skills are less effective. Let's see. We also get the ball first, so I've been doing a front-facing defender just to make it harder for them to play the ball out. I've also been using someone with throw-in just because I play the flank a lot. Let's see what we can do here. I want to get Kraut involved. But if I do that, I'm gonna have an invalid team. Will I? No, I'll be fine. Yeah, that'll be fine. Okay. I don't know what their formation is, but I can guess based on what I see over here. Again, based on the new scouting system, all of this is a kind of an estimate, a guess. So I'm guessing that their players are like this. I would need better scouts to make this more accurate or more solid, right? More substantial, I guess is the word. But I do know that they have this formation. I know that they have these classes. I know there's these players that they're going to be fielding. I know that these skills exist. For example, Trinket's going to be really dangerous because he's a forward with 3 skills. So definitely going to be dangerous. This is always level 1, so you won't see any type of question mark beside it. Football and culture skills are always static, so you always know what they are. It's just the potential might change, but those skills are always always level 1. They can never grow any higher than that. Yeah, but I know they have these skills, right? So I'm aware of that much. Let's see what else we're going for. This is a training game, I think. Gilmore's training to become. They were using Gilmore in a spot I didn't expect. He was supposed to be an attacking player. Maybe they put him on the flank. Possibly. Alright, we'll do that. And then I think we'll start with that. I don't know about McNee up there. Thinking about it, I could also do Atkins. Using Atkins isn't a bad choice. But also I want Kraut because I don't know what they're going to use here. Maybe instead of you, maybe I play someone with long path right here. We'll see. Let me think about this. Nah, I could do him. 62. Maybe we'll do that. That looks a little better. And then we can get the ball into the box pretty easily. That's no problem. Alright, let's do it. Alright, so we're going to see how this looks in a match now. That's been, what, like 22 minutes? But this game, you do spend a lot of time in the menus when you play this game. Especially when the transfer window just starts. There's a lot of strategy there. So yeah, so if I look at the field, it's going to look exactly the same. You know, based on my scouting, this is the information that I have. Some of it's closer to reality than others when it comes to looking at it. When we do the dice rolls, you're also going to see that as well. So for example, let's see. If you look up there in the top right corner, like right up here, if you can follow the cursor, you can see that when I hover over this guy, there's also a bit of guesswork involved. We don't know exactly what his ratings are, so when we do the rolls, we're not going to be entirely sure. Certain things will always be true though. For example, this says he's weak. In this case, it means that no matter what we roll, I'm guaranteed to win. It's similar to like rolling through a tired player with a skill. You're always guaranteed to win. So based on that, I know that his defense can't be that good. So there are still things you can do to get information and then make choices. So even though I don't know exactly what his defense is, it can't be that good because, you know, he's weak. And I can look at it for everybody else. I know that he is an English player, so I know that he has slide tackle. That's a given. There are a lot of different things you can tell, right? Give me 1 second. Yeah, it's interesting, for sure. Let me just do this. Doing this live, right? So anything that's going on, I gotta check it out. Let's see. Okay, we're all good. Yeah. So in the game, it's also going to impact the decisions you make when you roll, when you make your choices in terms of what you do. And then obviously when it shows the numbers that pop up are going to be based on these ratings as well. So if this guy tackles me with like a normal tackle, it's going to show 35, even if his defense is higher than 35. So then, you know, that's going to be what I see on the challenge. I think there's going to be an update at some point where you see the actual number get updated if they roll higher than the ceiling. So like if he rolls like a 50 or something, his defense will update to 50 to whatever his last max roll was. So it's more of a real-time thing, right? Let's see. Let's do... Thinking about this. I could go for long pass, but again, it's a similar situation. I think he has level 8. I think he has potential level 8, but I don't know. That's a bit of a gamble. Alright, so let's see. He's from Germany, so I know that I'm going to get a bonus against him no matter what. That's a given. Because he has ball holding. Of course, the AI is really smart. They're going to put me in an offside trap. Let's see. I can always do that. Again, you know, I'm checking him out. Same thing for his ratings. I can be pretty confident that he doesn't have 55 accuracy. So even though I'm not sure what his ratings are, some of these ratings don't make sense. So for example, 55 accuracy on a central defender makes very little sense. So I doubt he has that. So I can imagine that he has higher control and defense. I'm going to go ahead and loft it. I'm going to go ahead and slide tackle. Again, I don't know what his actual giftedness is. So I don't know what his potential will actually be on this roll. So I'm just kind of gambling and hoping that it's lower than what I see here, even though it might not be. And then I can see it's at least 5 based on what happened a while ago. I'm going to try again. So as you see, it's actually higher than 8 because he just rolled a 10. So you can learn based on that. So I know that he actually has at least 10, which means his giftedness is at least like level 2, I think, or something like that. Yeah, so there are still ways to gain information. Like, it's not going to be perfect, but there are still options you can use. And then, of course, it's going to impact the choices you make. A while ago, I thought he had up to 8 based on the information that I was given. You know, I could roll a 9 in that situation, but he actually rolled a 10 because that's what his actual potential is, right? So again, as feedback to Kaz and Creo team, it's definitely going to make the game more complex. Especially on the strategic side, but even on the field, you can already see it's making things a bit more complex than they'd normally be. Whether or not that's a bad thing depends on who you ask. You know, I don't mind complexity, so it doesn't really bother me all that much. I'd actually prefer complexity, but I'd imagine for like the more casual player, it's going to be really hard to deal with. Again, here's a bit of a bug here. He has 110 defense, right? Unless I'm just not reading it right. Okay, so it's fine. I'm just being stupid. Yeah, so he has 110 defense based on my scouting information, right? And then of course you can improve this so you get accurate information if you invest in the scouting center and scouting infrastructure. But based on this, I think he has 110 because this is the information I'm given. You know, if I do a power shot, it will supposedly be against 110. When the roll actually happens, if he has less than 110, then that's going to be his max roll. I just don't know. For all I know, he could have a max of like 80. And, you know, it's showing me 110, so I just don't know. So I have to make a decision based on what I can see. So I'm going to look at all of this, and I'm going to go ahead and do a power shot. That scored. I mean, because even if you have a higher max, you can still roll poorly. We'll take a goal all day. But yeah, those are things that are going to kind of influence the way you make decisions, I think. 56, maybe. Could be higher than that. No clue. So all of those different things are going to matter. I will say I do like the design idea behind it. Like we're moving away from total information. It's funny, if I can do an aside. I was playing another strategy game that I enjoy, but its biggest weakness is the fact that it gives you total information in the most important areas. So if you've ever played a strategy game, you know how much of a failure that is from a gameplay design perspective, especially for strategy games, and it really holds that game back. Like there are ways to correct it yourself as a player if you do like challenge runs and put in house rules and stuff, but as a design decision, it was really bad, and that really impacts the game as a whole. And I was kind of thinking, you know, strategy games that give you total information at any stage, that's always going to be a bit of a flaw. Because as a player, you know, you're never going to take the less optimal solution. Even if you're incorrect, whatever you think is most optimal is what you're going to take, right? So when you kind of give players total information, they don't take risks, because why would you take a risk, right? And then they don't get any of those interesting situations where they learn something that they didn't know, where they gambled in a certain way and they got a different outcome that they didn't expect, and all those different things. So I do like the fact that this seems to be moving more towards that design area, or that philosophy of giving players some of the information, and then but still giving them enough to make calculated decisions, right? And then they can still make deductions based on their game knowledge and stuff like that. So I like it. Again, it's going to be pretty complicated if for more casual players. I'm not a casual player, not to say that as a derogatory term. I'm just someone who spent a lot of time thinking about this. As you can tell by the fact that it took me 20 minutes to start a match, right? Yeah, so I'd say keep that in mind as well. In terms of the philosophy, that alone may, some people might like it, some people might not. That might also be worth consideration. I think it's a good idea personally. I know from the whole conversation we had in the group, a lot of people seem to prefer this as well, this approach. But your mileage may vary depending. Yeah, for example, I don't know exactly how much control these guys have. I do know that he has these two skills. I'm surprised that he's not taking the corner kick, which kind of leads me to believe that his giftedness actually isn't that high, right? Either his giftedness isn't that high, or they're banking on the rainbow feint, so his control must be higher than what we see here. So it's one of the two. Because I think the AI will still make decisions based on the actual ratings, even if you can't see them. So based on the decision they made here, I know that he has Olympic kick, but his giftedness can't be that high if they're not taking the Olympic kick. It has to be a control situation, right? So I'm going to make that guess, and I'm going to try to fight in the box based on that. Who am I going to use? I'm going to go with him first, and I'm going to go with Dean's. Well, should we do Dean's? No, we're not going to do Dean's. We're going to do Heimer there, and then it says he's 48, but I don't believe that, so I'm going to do Hansen down here. And we're going to see what actually happens. They're going to try to pass it into the box. So it's control, yeah, I didn't think it was that high. So it's kind of gambling with information with incomplete information, right? So you're still making decisions, you're still kind of hoping for the best, you're still trying to make the most optimal decision, but you're not completely certain on what the final play is going to be, right? And there's more room for being surprised and error and whatnot. Right, so we'll do that. Like, based on all of this, it says he has 45 defense. I don't believe that. I think he has more than that because he's a specialist, right? He's a defender. Why would he have 45 defense? So I don't believe that, but it does say that he has slide tackle. That he might have level 2. Don't know what to think here. I could take a shot. I probably won't. I'll probably just hold it at the flank and let him tackle. Yeah, he's going to come and slide tackle. So he doesn't have 69, at least that's my thought. And his slide tackle is not even that good because I was suppressed and he still didn't win the ball. So his potential is not that good. Yeah, so there are certain things you can tell just based on game sense, right? For veterans of the game, they're going to have a huge advantage in that sense. But even as a newcomer, just based on, as you learn about how the game works, certain things will just make sense, right? Like, based on the decision that the AI makes, it's kind of like playing... What's a good example? If you've ever played a tabletop game versus another human opponent, be it cards or like something like that where they can hide information, you make decisions based on the information they give you. So like if you play, I can't even think of a good example. I don't know. If you play some war game or something and someone makes a certain move, you'll start to kind of think about what they could have, what their strategy could be. You'll think about why they didn't make a different move instead. And then you'll kind of make decisions based on that. So I think for this game in particular, it actually moves it closer towards playing against another human in that sense. So for example, like I said a while ago, if you're not actually playing against if you're playing against another human, they're going to make decisions, you know, based on the information that they have and that you're not aware of. And you're going to have to guess at why they're doing certain things. And you'll never know exactly why something happened, but you can kind of infer based on the situation and whatnot. So it's moving it closer towards that type of game as well, which is nice. Yeah, it's just a lot going on. I'll try to explain it, but I'm not great at giving my thoughts and thinking about the game as I play it. For me, it's normally one or the other. Yeah, but we're gonna go ahead and do that. We're gonna go for the cross, I think. And then we're gonna go ahead and let's see. Probably gonna set myself up here again. Yeah, we're gonna move him back up here. Or I might actually do Hansen. Yeah, we'll do Hansen out of the box. We're gonna try to score. We might score. Again, it says that he has 122 control. He might have something close to that. He might also have something much lower. We're just gonna take the cross and see. Yeah, we never got the ball. It's fine. So I like it because it still encourages you to scout. There's still certain benefits to scouting. It's not all or nothing anymore, but you still get something out of it. Like if I scout, I'll have more total information. Also, there are a lot of different things that will tip you off to what the opponents actually have in terms of ratings. For example, if you understand how the motivation system works in this game, generally it's supposed to soften bad rolls. So if you have a really good chance of succeeding at a roll and you fail, you tend to get more motivation as a result. So you can see I just failed that tackle and I got motivation immediately. So that kind of tells me that his control is lower than this. So I had a really good chance to win. So it probably isn't actually 47, it's lower. And that's why my motivation shot up like that, right? So there are a lot of little things you can learn, you can use to get information, even if you don't have the exact numbers. So I like that a lot because obviously when you could see the numbers, you didn't have to worry about any of that. Like I know that this guy has 8 potential and everything he's gonna do is gonna be based on that. Now he might have 8, he might have less. Now I have to guess, right? That's actually pretty neat. And I have to make the best choice I can make based on the situation. Yes, I'm going to go ahead and cross. Again, it says he has 122, but based on the situation and my understanding of how head play works, I'm going to go ahead and take the opportunity anyway. He got the ball, so he has at least 91. Okay, so that's solid. But I know that he can knock the ball away. He can still potentially score. I can still make like the best decision based on the situation, even if the ratings aren't always in my favor, right? It's kind of leaning toward that idea of not having total information, but playing against your opponent, they're keeping the cards close to their chest. They're trying to keep you off balance in their decisions and whatnot. So I personally like the change. I know some of the other guys are going to be giving their thoughts as well. I think Hoplite actually started his own recording just to make it easier to follow. So I'm interested to see what he thinks about it. Hoplite's been playing. He's probably been playing for as long as I have, honestly. So Hoplite's one of those guys who have been around forever. I think there are a few other guys in the group like that, so it's going to be interesting to see what everybody thinks. I'll do one more game. I wanted him to become a wing midfielder. That was always the goal. Like German wing midfielders are really good in this game because ball holding really shines when you can hold the ball in those areas where there's very low traffic, and that tends to be on the wing, you know, where the AI can make like one tackle and then their turn is over. So obviously on the wing they're going to be really strong, especially since they can move really far. And this guy also has slide tackle, which helped a lot. So I feel like German midfielders and probably German forwards are the best Germans in this game. best German nationals in this game. Probably universal forwards as well. I'd say wingers and universal forwards for the German footballing culture for sure. Let's see, third place. We'll do one more game. It's not getting late, but I don't normally play at night. Someone's offering me a player on loan. Now it looks like this guy's information is, let's see. All right, so that's cool. So when they give you the information on a player that they're willing to loan to you, you have some of the data outright. So I know that he has 54 control, he has 9 defense, he has 20 passing, and he has 33 accuracy. And I also know that he has level 2 cannon shot because I don't see the question mark here. I also know that he's level 33. If I check his profile, all of that stuff is going to be hidden, right? I don't know exactly how much control he has, passing, accuracy. I don't know what his actual level is when I check it here. But I can see all of it here. 33-20, 32-22, 8, 9, 54, 45, level 2, level 30, level 33. So again, for Cause, I wonder if you need to ensure that these match. Since I can see his information here, should I also be able to see it here right now? Or would that be too hard to link together? That's for Cause and Creo team. But it's cool that they give you some of the information. So I know that if I pick up this player, these are his absolute ratings right now. I don't know what his giftedness is though. That's still kind of hidden. So I'm unaware of how gifted he is. I'm going to grab him just to take a look at it. And now that I grabbed him, I can actually see that his giftedness is actually a 2-star. And then I can see all of his information now. That's actually pretty cool. And it's going to be similar to buying a player, because before you buy a player, you don't know anything about them, right? Or at least you don't necessarily have accurate information about the player. Only certain things like the age and the skills that they have, really. So let me go ahead and continue, see if they're asking, okay, I want to see if they give me more for Atkins. They won't. Okay, they gave me the additional list. I did that because I want to see how the scouting looks on that list. The extended list. Okay, so we still have the scouting, which is going to be a new column. Of course, you can scout all these different players based on the level of your scouts and the level of the players. So some of the scouts are going to be too weak, or like some of the players are going to be too good or too high of a level for your scouts to really get information on. Other players, not so much. But it also kind of forces you to wait, like before we had this, you would just grab whichever player looks good and that'd be it, right? But now that you don't have that information, you have to kind of wait and see how things pan out. And you also have to make choices you wouldn't normally make. For example, this guy is definitely 34 years old, and he definitely has slide tackle, but he might be giftedness level 2, he might have level 2 slide tackle. He might be better than expected, so it might be worth grabbing him even though I won't be able to scout his information at all, for example. I'm going to do it just to show that off. He's also from England. There's also some things you can tell based on their footballing culture. For example, he's from England, so I know based on my knowledge of the game that he can never have more than level 1 slide tackle. So I immediately know this is wrong, right? Because for the footballing culture, if you already learned the skill, you get increased potential. You don't get another level. So there's no way he has a level 2 slide tackle. That's one thing off, right? And then the rest of it is kind of a gamble, right? But then I also know if he's giftedness level 2, it's not necessarily going to help this situation at all, because at best it's going to give him a bit more potential on the roll, slide tackle roll. I'm going to buy him. In this case, he's not a good choice, but I'm going to buy him just to show it off, just to let you see it. And also, it's not costing me anything. Watch, as I do that, I only spend glory. I'm going to go ahead and look at him, and he's going to have... Why did he have level 2 slide tackle? Cause I think something is wrong here. Yeah, he shouldn't have level 2 based on his footballing culture. He should have let me see his specialization. Oh, I see. Sorry, that's my fault. That's my fault. He gets additional potential for learning the skill as a footballing culture, so he can have level 2. He can have level 2 if it's a learned ability. If it's an ability he gets for being an English player, then you know it can only be level 1. That's my fault. Yeah, so I was actually wrong. My scouting information was wrong. You know, I was wrong. All right, so he's there, but there are certain things you can infer based on their culture and their position and a bunch of other different things. Like right there I was wrong, but I was kind of on the right track. Yeah, so for a 15 giftedness player, he's okay. A 15 glory player, he's fine. His stats aren't amazing. He's also 34 years old, but he can definitely learn a lot more. He comes with a good skill, and he's also a fullback. He's also a giftedness level 2 fullback, so when he actually suppresses players, it's gonna hurt a little bit more than normal. So he's solid enough. Let's see. He'll also be on the bench though. And then Offie's there as well. I have a lot of players here. I'm probably gonna sell Atkins when I get the chance. We'll see. Let's do one more game. You can immediately see how much more complicated the game has become just based on that alone. Like I've gotten one match in about 40 minutes because I've just been going over this thing. And it's going to impact every level of the game, of course, in the matches, in the transfer market, in the planning when you're looking at other teams and stuff like that. Because now you have some information, and honestly, having some information probably makes it harder to plan. Because having no information, you can make like more static plans, I suppose. Like all or nothing, I feel like it's a lot easier to manage. But when you have some, you start to think about possibilities and different things and plan for a bunch of different outcomes and all of that. Yeah, but this is 4-3-3. I can only make choices based on what I know that they have. I know that they have a right wing forward who's from the Netherlands, so this bonus is absolutely useless because he's from the Netherlands. It only impacts universal players. But they also have a right wing forward, so I need to pay attention to that. I also just got an LD who could use a run. Sure. He's also from England, so that impacts my number of suitable footballers. That's going to impact that somewhat. This is also the Prestige Cup, so I probably want to put my best out there, so I'm going to go with Schaefer. Let's see, they also get the ball first, and it is Sonny. And they have 2 CMs and a forward. And I know that their right wing forward is going to be over there. I know that they have McKay. McKay is probably going to be here or here. He has head play, but I don't know how good his head play is going to be. So all of those things matter as well. Let's see. We're not going to do Masters. We're going to do McGrace again. Take out Young and put in... Let's see. They have 4. They have a sweeper as well. I'm going to have to take out Forrester because I'd like to play... Oh, I can't play Kraut, can I? So maybe Forrester stays in. Never mind. And then let's see. Might do Atkins. Might want to play someone else up front though. And I'm just planning for the match, right? Let's see. McNee. Atkins. Both Scottish. This guy has long pass. Everybody loves long pass, but I'd rather do Atkins, especially since McNee's starting to get tired. His fatigue is not looking good. We got Gilmore in there. Deans. I could also do Deans. He's almost an LM. It's not the time for Deans though. We're gonna do Masters. It might be the time for Deans because he has layoff pass, so Deans might be useful there later on. Just trying to figure out who to play. Take out Young. Definitely not using Young today. And then, Need one more. One more. Might do Ove because Ove has decent control instead of Scarf. And then we have more of a balanced formation there. Now let's see how this game looks in practice because I don't even know what they're fielding. Oh, there it is. I had to do it from this screen. Someone's not valid. Who do I need to remove? Let's see, Heimer. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I have nothing but foreigners at the back. A bit of a problem. You have to remove one of them. I thought so. Atkins, Scotland. Blackley, I think. Yeah. Suitable footballers, you have to have a certain number of nationals. You can't have all foreign talent. They can't be like the MLS or the Premier League or something. With primarily foreign players now. Gotta have nationals for it to be a valid team. Of course, that's an option that you can change if you don't like it, but by default, you have to have a certain number of players from the country. Yeah, but I was right about McKay's positioning. I also like the fact that we have this great big question mark in the formation view as well. That's pretty nice. Nice. You know, it makes it pretty obvious. Yeah, that's pretty cool. So I'm assuming that when we scout these players, these question marks will just be gone, right? That's for Creo Team and Cause. They'll get back to me at some point. But it would be for like the weaker players or teams that you've played a lot or something. Yeah, but they're gonna lob it, which means his passing's higher than 65. Get the ball. His control's not that great. Alright, let's see. We could long pass it. Long pass it. We're gonna hold it. Let's see. Yeah, we're gonna hold it. That's a CM. I think we're going to see if I can get back into position here, honestly. I'm gonna leave useless over there. 14 defense. Yeah, it's not great defense. Let's see. Let's see if I can... Ooh, should I even bother running the flank? Yeah, I'm gonna do it. Now, it says he has playing out. It says it might be level 2, but he definitely has playing out. For sure, right? So I know that he's gonna have some type of strength against the head play tactic. So I'm just not gonna make that play. I'm gonna hold the ball again, force them to try to win it. They're gonna knock me down, that's fine. I can go ahead and let's see. I could try to lob it. It's not the best choice. I'm gonna go ahead and just pass it back and forth. Force him to make a play again. He probably has the best defense out of everybody at the top, but it's not very good. That's gonna be 2 yellows. He's now out of the game. I'm going to, let's see. Probably gonna make the same play, honestly. And then again, their ratings have gone down, but they're still unknown. I still don't know what they have, even with the teammate removed. Gonna go for the same play because that's my best opportunity to score, even if I'm just holding up play right now. Okay, you're gonna go for a tackle now. Yeah, he's gonna get injured. That's a given. That's alright, because I'm probably gonna sell him. And I'm gonna go ahead and try to get it through. Not sure about him. It says that he might have 8 potential to stop it, but he might have more or less. We got it through, we'll take it. I was going for the safer play, just to run the flank and then just get it through. That would have been safer than trying to challenge, since I don't know what his potential is. Also says he might be giftedness level 3. So it's showing me 14, but it might be higher or lower, I don't know. I'm just gonna go ahead and gamble. I got the goal, so it might be actually 2, because that was 10. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, that guy's passing is actually really high. He might take a shot. Ooh, his accuracy's not bad. Okay. So far, so good. Can't really complain. And then I think we get the ball first. Now, I don't want to make the same play I made a while ago. Maybe on this side instead. Might be the better call. And then he is also from Scotland, so he'll get that bonus, which I haven't spoken about in a while, which is I'm planning ahead. A huge bonus to passing. It's an obscene bonus, honestly. Like, it's not even fair. But there's a reason why it's so good. Because you have to actually hold the ball. So it costs an action to prop. Hold on. There we go. I just killed the, there. Yeah, you have to spend an action to hold the ball, and you have to have enough control to make it happen. Which obviously gets harder as you go higher and higher into the top leagues, right? Okay, he's just gonna get in the way. It's okay, they're just gonna do that. That's smart. Oh, they had it a while ago. I don't know why they did that. It's like sometimes it makes really weird choices. Like, in that situation, they should have just ended their turn. Sometimes they want to spend that third action, and then they'll spend it on something that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So, like, right there, they had it because he was offside, but, you know. Now he's not offside. Give me a second. One second. Sorry about that. College kids have been messing with cars around here again, so gotta double check on that. Don't know why it's always kids that make these really silly choices. Don't know. Anyway, yeah, so we're gonna make the cannon shot again. I'm guessing he has closer to like 10 giftedness. I don't think he has 14 based on that last interaction. Yeah, 9. I'd expect as much. Alright. Let's see. This is the control they're showing me. He might have 52 control, maybe. But all of my guys over here have a ton of control as well. So, do McNee, and then do, let's see. Do you, and then also do you. Right. Alright. Yeah, they're gonna want to get him out of the box because he has cannon shot. I don't know, it says he might have 101 defense, which is, something I could potentially beat. I don't think he has 31 defense. That seems a bit low for a sweeper. Even with the penalty, that seems unlikely. I'm gonna loft it and try to get it over there. Okay. He got it, that's fine. But now it has to be a power shot because, he controlled it. Okay, we get another corner, that's fine. Now he's motivated, so he gets a bonus. Basically a 15% bonus, I think, because he's also suffering from the card situation. Let's see. You're probably 45. Thinking about it. Might make the switch here. Might bring him in. Because it's the same play, it's just a different area. And then we'll do that. Yeah, he's motivated now, so it's a bit more dangerous. And even if I don't score on these interactions, it's still burning the clock, so it's still in my favor. Again, I'm gonna loft it. Nice thing about that is the goalkeeper has to fight for it. Because the goalkeeper is directly behind him. That's always nice. Let's see if I can. I don't think I'm going to win the ball, so I'm going to go ahead and prepare to defend. Let's see. What play could they make? Going to go ahead and press him, make it harder to move the ball forward because this DF is here. He's going to have to lob it all the way down here. Yep. Now he might have 14 defense. He's gonna go ahead and do that. Suppress, yep, that's fine. Okay, well now we're guaranteed to win the ball. Because he's suppressed. And then I can go ahead and give it to Hansen, and then Hansen can just run it down. Just get it out of here. And then even if they win the ball, it doesn't matter. Because they have to work it all the way back up here. Now all I have to do is that. Don't have to take any risk at all, honestly. Let's see. And I might just get these guys some experience. Why not? Yeah, so I think I'm going to end it there. I did spend a lot of time trying to explain this. Hopefully it makes sense to anyone who's wondering about it. It is a new change. I think it's going to be a big change as well. Just because it's there's so much going on that you have to think about now. Like, I haven't even gotten into ways to improve it, right? I'm just kind of showing off how it looks. And of course it's a work in progress, so I imagine it will get polished up as time goes on too. "30-minute videos." I can't time it. Like, I look at YouTube as an extension to what I want to do. Like, I don't look at it as content creation. Because once you look at it like that, it's work. I tend to look at it as a tool for me to use for things that I'm potentially interested in, honestly. Yeah, let's see. Talent. He's level 30. He caps out at level 40. So I feel like in this sense, it makes more sense to go at least dedication here, and then maybe 30%. He also gets level 2 or level 1 in a few days, so maybe talent. And he's also young. He's 20 years old. Maybe talent this time. Sure, why not? Yeah, but that's it. Of course, that's an hour. Obviously, it always runs long. It's never going to be shorter than this because, again, for me, YouTube is a tool. It's not a media platform at all. And then for this has a very specific purpose as well. Yeah, I'm not going to look at this right now. I'm going to look at it next time I play. But yeah, it's an interesting system. I'm looking forward to playing around with it for sure. Again, it's gonna shoot the complexity way up. That might be a good or bad thing depending on who you ask. But for me personally, I think it's a good thing.